Hey guys, how's it going? The Independent Thought Project back for another one.
Yep.
We're on the wave, we're riding it, the internal wavelength at full force. From the information being displayed by InfoWars, it's a seismic wave of information that is obliterating globalist agendas, washing away the topsoil and exposing just how sandy a foundation the globalist agenda and ideals were built upon. Thanks for tuning in to today's transmission. I'm Jesse.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Torin. We're giving you the information breakdown today on interplanetary exploration, the overall sustainability of humanity, the deprogramming of globalism, withheld technologies by the federal government and withheld from the general population, and a little bit about NASA that's not covered in the mainstream media. We got some really hard-hitting articles today. Across the board, we're going to hope to give it to you, give it what you need, man.
Yeah, we're going to try to hit a pretty broad spectrum of things here.
Yeah.
Like you said, a great point to start is the interplanetary exploration. I mean, we're seeing a lot of questions, angled towards an ending question that is the sustainability of humanity, that kind of ends up leading there almost every time when you look at humans' paths of destruction to the earth. Really, if you break it down in a simplistic nature, wouldn't you say?
No, absolutely, I would concur. But my biggest thing on that is that we are not in the eye of the EPA's definition of what's destruction to the earth. Okay, you see, we're more the libertarian. We believe that we should have access to fuels. They've put us on this plantation of being stuck with petroleum-based fuels for our cars.
So how do we deprogram this?
Right.
This globalism, libertarianism versus globalism. How do you deprogram all of this?
Well, we start with attacking each main point and breaking it down into something that the general public can understand and grasp, and not be scared of, and not run away, not get triggered by. No, don't be triggered.
You mean kind of like a platform like YouTube?
Maybe Spotify and Facebook.
No shadow banning, like the exercise of that free speech,
For real.
Could I hit it out of the park any harder there? I mean, who's to watch over the FCC? Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, who's to regulate the regulators? We don't have those guys.
So we just need to keep putting red tape to get anywhere. I see this is where this is going. That's interesting.
I'd like an ice cream about this high. Okay, coming right up. What do I owe you? Nothing. It's for free. Free!
That's interesting. That's just more authoritarianism, not libertarianism, this is why we're here, Interplanetary exploration, we were just hitting that, I think it's means of sustaining humanity. I think so, but like we were posing before, there's this whole other side to things, and you have to pour through the information to even begin to deprogram it in a way.
There's a lot of research that goes involved to get exactly what they say versus what's real, and sifting through that is what we're trying to do. We're trying to separate the wheat from the chaff here and give you. We're not, trying to be gatekeepers or some sort of person who is not giving you the full truth. We're doing to the best of our abilities, and I think a lot of people in independent media are, and they're being censored for that. That's disgusting.
Yeah, where's the censorship coming from? Are we going to get censored too? Am I going to call that one off? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? And How could we even prove if we were to be shadow banned in the first place?
No, we can't though. They have complex algorithms that work within these private platforms. We agree to their terms. Check the box as soon as we upload a video. With Facebook, all of the photos that you upload are theirs. So, okay, anyway, interplanetary exploration. What is it? Why is it good? Why do we believe in it? Why do we believe this is one of the answers to prolonging humanity and seeing us succeed in the new Renaissance? Having this area, this 200 years of reprieve that we've had from God, which I believe it's spiritual. We've had such a good time here. We're the greatest. We're the greatest country, and it's not just because of chance.
In a short amount of time.
We've been around how much less?
And we're going to keep on that path too. And this is what this is about. And that's why we have to deprogram the globalism. We were trying to bring it up in the past episodes with the genetically modified organisms and filtering your water and seeing what happens when you're in a environment laden with chemicals. What happens to your chromosomes even when you're in that environment, or maybe perhaps ingesting that environment as your source of water. That's interesting. We also got corporate terrorism that's happening. It's economical warfare.
Absolutely.
The trade war that's going on with China, the petrodollar that we're just now catching on to and trying to stifle from the Middle East. They come at us on so many different angles. There's a lot of information to hit on here. There's overpopulation, there's carbon taxing, the genetic manipulation that we had already hit on, that's with the fish, the gay fish.
Oh, it's so funny.
No, we're going to have a gay fish meme.
Except for
there's a gay, it's like already gay frog meme.
Pepe the Frog is not a gay frog, though. I believe he identifies as a male frog.
We will make America great again.
He never told us though, so don't be hateful.
Oh, okay. All right.
We gotta watch it. We don't want to be deplatformed now. We don't want to be deplatformed. Please. No.
It puts the lotion on its skin. No!
Well, say it, don't spray it, brother. Dang.
Anyways.
Okay. So you want to touch on overpopulation? Interplanetary exploration is a means to surpass and circumvent what the elitists and what the Fortune 1000 groups, the special interests, the bankers, the rulers of the petroleum industry. They are very few, but they are very powerful. And they tell us that we're supposed to be stuck on this oil-based, petroleum-based system. And then they tell us we're bad for driving cars that run on their system. So they say, well, we have overpopulation. And the EPA can confirm this. They say it all the time. And they that there's too many people, there's too many damn people on the earth, and we just need to, get rid of some of them, and by whatever means we want. Some of it's classified, some of it's declassified, like you just said.
Another term it's called is eugenics.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it's called.
Eugenics, which was introduced far long ago by, I think the first person to actually come out is Margaret Sanger by name, which
Google it, folks. Oh wait, Google's not. Maybe Bing it. I'm not trying to support Google here.
Yeah,
I might be being hateful.
I'm a little partial, but I'm also a libertarian. So do what you want to do.
Yeah. Anyway, overpopulation. They say that there's too many people and that we're harmful to the planet. Therefore, there needs to be less of us to not be as harmful to the planet. Interplanetary exploration.
How is that not evil?
No, it's pretty. No, it's pretty evil. They say
it's on the Georgia Guidestones, for God's sake. They're in Georgia Guidestones. They're like the 10 commandments of globalism. If you go and look them up, you can go read what they say. They specifically say that they want the population under 500 million. They want to cap it right there. I can't begin to understand or grasp that concept.
So So interplanetary exploration.
It seems anti-human.
Oh, it is anti-human.
That's
completely anti-human.
That's why I angle it towards globalism, which is in the prophetic writings of the Bible, like you said, which is a spiritual connection, which is really interesting that it comes back to that level every time.
There's a lot of different points that can draw on the same topic, and people have been trying to do it for a long time. Interplanetary exploration. If we were to able to have technology that allowed us to go outside of space,
make it public access,
right?
Not just a corporate conglomerate of bull crap.
Make it available to the general public to where they can, independently or in groups or however they want, just make it an option. Make it not like at the grocery store. If you want to buy this or a free market in space, something where you can go and you can live there. And you don't have to be under this program of what we have here on this planet.
Where there's a constant attack on the Constitution, the American way, the culture of our nation. Men have died, thousands, millions of men have died
for the sake of liberty.
In the name of this freedom that we speak of, the constitutional rights, the God-bestowed rights, by being on this plane of reality.
Absolutely.
Not by the state. The state doesn't get to be the arbiter to our lives, ever.
No,
neither does YouTube or the FCC.
No, our rights are not endowed.
That's far beyond hate speech.
No, it's un-American. That's what it is. But no,
it's anti-human.
Nationalism.
Because Americans are the pioneers of, anti-slavery, anti-fascism. They were the pioneers to that, not the fake Antifa members, anti-First Amendment bull honkies, dude. I don't even know. I mean, trying to keep it family friendly, keep it G-rated. It's ridiculous. They come at you with an asp, as we've seen on the Rufio Panman video, and he got deplatformed as well. Which
the Proud Boys just,
Test your luck. Finish him. Flawless victory.
Part of your First Amendment to put your voice out on a open access platform that's on the internet.
So wouldn't interplanetary exploration, colonization, this whole frontier, this whole giant frontier into space, wouldn't this be the answer to what they're telling us is overpopulation? There's too many people on the planet. They want to kill us, and they want to make us thinned out like a herd of animals, but they're not giving us the option to go and do our own thing. And I mean, why are they making this the only answer is to kill us all?
You could go and populate other carbon-based worlds. There's what was the number again? It was 40 billion. 40 billion. I'm sorry.
40 billion.
Recap that. 40 billion Earth-like planets in the Milky Way galaxy alone, people. Alone.
That are possibly habitable, yeah.
There is millions, if not billions, of galaxies on top of just the Milky Way galaxy. How is this not being looked at? And people want to extinguish each other through a eugenics program. You basically break it down that way. That's what it's labeled as.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. Abortion is disgusting. I'm sorry. And that's not hate speech.
No, it's not. It's not. And why it's not hate speech is because people have the right to say what they think and use platforms to be able to put that thought out there.
First Amendment rights.
Yeah, it is First Amendment. But then
you cannot stifle my speech because you feel that it's wrong to say.
Right. And I mean, I legitimately, I don't agree with some things people say when I think, they have Satan worshipers.
Exactly.
And they have KKK people, but they have the right to say it, but that doesn't mean I agree with it.
And being a libertarian, you humble yourself and you listen to what they have to say. But then you tell them your perception and why you think the way you think. And normally when you start putting the Constitution and the Bill of Rights in front of them and why you were endowed with that through God, this spiritual connection, this 3-in-1 connection that some people just can't grasp for some reason, it's just being completely disconnected from.
Well, and okay, so there's the thing. So now we've gone over their solution to overpopulation is manipulation through eugenics, genetic manipulation, GMOs, water, food, to dumb us down.
Fresh breath of air, dang it.
Vaccines, they kill us. They try to stifle humanity and cut down the numbers through covert chemical processes, and they also do it through abortion.
You have to go check if it's organic. You have to read the back of the package to see if there's chemicals in the food. Mm-hmm. You have to filter your water because that's not already taken care of. That information isn't out there. It's not general knowledge. You have to go research to filter your water. It's still a struggle in some people's lives to accept whether or not you should filter your everyday tap water. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. That becomes a hypocrisy and a struggle, an information struggle in this overall,
Oh, the compendium breakdown. Yeah, the compendium of different informations that everyone's getting. How are they going to decipher? They have to look at the character of people and what they stand for and see if they are the person they say they are and that's what they believe in. And if somebody really believes it, doesn't mean they're right. But most of the time, if they're on the right side of things and they're telling you to filter your water, guy, because they have government documents that say they're putting this shit in the water, they're probably right. Anyway, going on to the interplanetary exploration.
Eugenics is a freaking joke. Why wouldn't you want to promote humanity? Why wouldn't you want to see more smiling faces, more healthy faces, more people having great memories and experiences and fun times? No? What's wrong with you? I'm sorry.
That's the front. That's
weird.
That's the front they put out. But
be how you want to be.
Yeah.
I just completely disagree with that.
So if interplanetary exploration and colonization is the answer to overpopulation, according to the CDC, according to the EPA, why is it that we have not been in space? Why is it that NASA has been dormant for, over 30, 40
half
years?
A century. Over half a century, people.
Yeah.
NASA has not been on a manned mission into space.
A little weird. Kind of makes me think that
it's being suppressed, which is even worse because that's general knowledge that the Republic should know, not the state.
And this is only declassified stuff. We don't have access to the other stuff. Well, I mean, imagine what's out there. But we know that they have a secret space program. And we'll get into that later. We have some documents that have some really good things to say about that, to shine some light on it. But why is it, if that's the answer to overpopulation, going into space, colonizing, or seeding the stars and things like that, expanding humanity, why is it that our biggest space what would you even call NASA? What is it? Is it an organization, a foundation, a corporation? It's a government agency, I guess.
Yeah, I would call it government agency.
So why hasn't it? They have been in space trying to pioneer this stuff for us.
Exactly, and that's the corruption that we're trying to expose. Over a half a century of dormancy. Why?
It's weird.
When the general public is asking, why? Mm-hmm. Come on, give us an answer. They can't. They proceed to do this, this dog with a stick tied to his neck with a hot dog on the end of it, sort of Jedi trick, like, hey, look at this hot dog over here, shiny little bell whistle. I don't know, it's that sort of thing. Alex Jones got deplatformed, and that's a whole nother can of worms that we'd like to hit on too. We might get deplatformed just for mentioning it. Yeah. Really? Probably. First Amendment, please. Thank you.
Please, YouTube.
We need to purge the centralized systems and YouTube and the FCC and Twitter and
Spotify,
Facebook, Instagram, dude. We need them to be independent. We need them to be an open public access. We don't need this authoritarianism. Where is all this coming from? This is selling out our nation. This is what makes libertarians fight for their country. Right. Because the Constitution says to. The Constitution says to fight for your country when it is being overrun by tyranny.
Absolutely. I would say that they all did it.
1776 is not a tinfoil hat theory.
It's not.
Lather themselves with. And then you can protect your head from the sun so you don't get...
See how fast I did that? Folks, I'm an expert.
There's the graves to prove it. Those combines, those platforms did it all in one fell swoop. By the way, they were working together. They all banned Alex Jones at once. Okay, now that's not just like, it's from unfounded claims, arbitrary strike rules that say he did hate speech, and all he's talking about is general.
Are they collaborating together?
Yeah, that's what it. Yeah, it sounds like collusion. There's no Russian.
But that's a
collusion.
conspiracy.
But Russian collusion's real. But Russian collusion.
But the Russian narrative is still ongoing, even though the Russians showed up for the testifying of it, and the man guilty or presenting the guilt to them did not. Interesting. I forget what it was. Was it special counsel Robert Mueller? Was that who it was?
He was the one who was investigating all of that,
and he did not show up.
No, and they didn't find anything.
Yellow belly son of a bitch.
They never found anything. But anyway, there's all these other problems. But no,
if you did nothing wrong, why don't you just show up, guy?
Right.
I mean, I'm sure you have enough money to, put gas in your vehicle and drive there and present yourself. What, $20?
Anyway, yeah, probably.
I digress.
So about overpopulation, we have an article here. We have
a few articles.
We do have a few articles.
I'd like to.
We're
trying to fit everything in here. There's so much to
cover. There's a lot of stuff. Okay, first of all, we want to go title. From 7 billion people to 500 million people, the sick population control agenda of the global elite. This comes from Infowars.com. No, it actually comes from theamericandream.com. Thursday, October 27th, 2011. This is an older article, but it's still just as relevant. There's lots of
2011. Yeah, that's still right in the genre. I mean, presidencies go for 4 years. That's
sometimes 8.
Two presidencies back.
Yeah,
that's Obama's mess. Interesting. Anyway,
it states that the United Nations has officially designated October 31st as 7 billion day. On that day, the United Nations estimates that the population of the Earth will hit 7 billion.
That's
the very first time. That's a lot of
people.
It's a lot of life and growth and amazing things. Well, how could they ever say that this was bad?
Especially when people used to only live, half as long as we used to.
Exactly. The miracle of America and modern medicine and what we've achieved. Why would we want to get?
How is that not connected to this natural instinct that maybe could be labeled as God? I don't know, this natural energy, this spiritual level. Interesting.
It goes on to say, but instead of celebrating what a milestone 7 billion people represents, the UNPF is focusing instead on using October 31st to raise awareness about sustainability and sustainable development. So when they use this word sustainable, I don't know, it's funny, they have this picture of a sperm cell, a little sperm.
Sounds like you have to decode this just a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's sustainability. They have like a bunch of rich Brits. They have this little sperm cell, this little sperm.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
And this X with the planet Earth right there. That's pretty disturbing. In other words, the United Nations is once again declaring that there are way too many people on the planet,
eugenics,
and that we need to take more direct measures to reduce fertility. Well, and that's where we go back to the genetic manipulation. We go back to
it's crazy.
This is their plan, man.
You could put a thought cloud up of everything, just link it all together. It's just a giant web of disgusting behavior to dupe the general population of America, the people who want the best for the world and humanity. I think that's a pretty solid thing to say.
No, that's human. We have this fight or flight instinct.
All flesh and blood. We all have blood inside of us.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what color we are. We need all to come together and stop focusing on these bullshit reasons they give us to fight about. Race, sex, religion, all these affiliations that have nothing to do with what they're stealing the future behind in the background. Anyway.
As soon as we were all heading into space, if we were all going to space, we wouldn't care about that anymore. None of that would be a platform anyone would be cared about.
No.
Be caring about. It would be more towards, seeing how we can somehow make it easier to travel through space, you know, maybe like finding some way to make space exploration cost reductions. I'm pretty sure we actually found a few articles on that, you know, and interplanetary mining was a huge subject that has been brought up time and time again. This isn't a new thing.
No, not at all.
And not only other planets, interplanetary, not trying to talk you down, your intelligence, I apologize, but also asteroids too, and comets.
Yeah.
Different bodies of metal and composites that are floating through space. They are totally attainable.
It's all free game. And
exactly.
they don't.
Who owns that? No one.
No one owns it. It's space.
That's not the system that America was based upon. We weren't based upon you stick a flag in it and you own it now. That's not how it was.
No.
That's not how America was founded either. The Pilgrims came here and were greeted great by Indians. They had a great, you know,
exchange, and then they
exchange. The Indians taught the Pilgrims how to grow corn using fish as a fertilizer, a natural fertilizer, you know, working it into the soil as an amendment. Yeah, that's amazing. You don't do that to someone you hate. You do that to someone you're trying to have in fellowship with yourself. It almost sounds like some sort of unionization that happened around that time that made the perception of people hate each other.
Yeah,
which is a race war.
Yeah, destroyed colonialism as we know it, and the barter and trade system that was going on. Okay, we can get into that a little later.
But interesting.
Very interesting. So in recent years, the UN and other international organizations, have become bolder about trying to push the sick population control agenda of the global elite. Most of the time, organizations such as the UN will simply talk about stabilizing the global population. But as you see in this article, there are many among the global elite that are not afraid to openly talk about a goal of reducing the population of the world to 500 million or less. To you, it might seem like instantly to want to get rid of more than 90% of the global population. But there's a growing consensus among the global elite that this is absolutely necessary for the good of the planet. And that's what the whole thing is. They believe is that we're overpopulated and that but it's for a nefarious agenda. They don't care about the planet. They don't really care about any of this stuff. Look at them. Look at them. They fucking tell us we can't have clean burning coal with scrubbers, the cleanest coal in the world. And they outsource all their businesses to China, who build nuclear reactors on fault lines and have the grossest coal burning plants ever. And they throw their nuclear cores into the ocean. They don't care. They don't really care about environmentalism.
And then they tell us they want a carbon tax and say that carbon is harmful to the environment when their own publications expose that heightened CO2 levels in an enclosed environment in a greenhouse causes plants to have higher vegetation rates, more fruits, more flowers. It creates a bigger, stronger plant. When photosynthesis happens in a plant, it causes the plant to exchange oxygen into the air. It is a taking away of the carbon from the original CO2 molecules that causes this to happen. The O2 is what's left because the plant feeds off of the carbon of that molecule. What happens is more O2 is then pumped into oxygen. Oxygen is pumped into the atmosphere because of plants. It's a cycle that has been built in naturally. It's interesting.
No, this is basic science. Everybody knows this, but they tell us CO2, that what we breathe out, is harmful. They say it's a greenhouse gas and it's going to harm the planet, and the poor polar bears are going to die, even though polar bears can swim like 75 miles. Anyway.
Okay. Have you ever grown cannabis? If you've grown cannabis, then you know that CO2 heightens your flower production. You would know this.
Yeah, it's just a little experiment anyone can do with almost any plant. I mean, it just totally puts to fraud what they're saying. Anyway, we approach October 31st. Dozens of articles are appearing in newspapers all over the globe that are declaring what a horrible thing it is that we're up to 7 billion people. And mind you, this is in 2011, people are saying. These groups are saying this, the EU and the EPA. In fact, it surely is no accident that the United Nations has put 7 billion, the 7 billion day on the exact day as Halloween. Kind of weird. Perhaps they want to highlight how scary it is that we have 7 billion people on the planet. Or perhaps they're trying to send us a message by having 7 billion, the 7 billion day occur on the same day as the Festival of Death. And you can look that up about Halloween, the origins, and all the weird occultic shit that went into that. In any event, it seems like way too much of a coincidence that 7 billion day just happens to fall on Halloween. Today's sustainable development has become one of the key buzzwords that those of the radical environmental movement love to use. But most Americans have no idea that one of the key elements, so what precisely is considered to be ideal population on Earth? So that's what it says. What is the ideal population for them? They get to decide, right? By those pushing sustainable development. Well, of course, there is much disagreement on the issue, but many are very open about the fact they believe that the Earth should only have about 500 million people or less on it. For example, the first of the new 10 Commandments on the infamous Georgia Guidestones state the following.
The Georgia Guidestones. Documents. Look them up, people. Ideas are bulletproof. The Constitution is bulletproof. Don't these globalists get that? They're going to fucking lose. They're going to lose. They're going to get stomped into the ground like dust if they stand up against these good old boys.
That's true. We got a barrel behind every blade of grass. That's why the Viet Cong and the Chinese won't land invade us. Anyway, CNN founder Ted Turner. This is a quote from him. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Trying to be some nature trendy, and that we have to balance 500 million people with balance with nature. Like that, nature is reproduction. Nature is expansion. Humans are meant to do that. Okay, he even went further and said a total population. They
aren't meant to, sorry, I need to interject real quick. They aren't meant to, farm and harvest big swaths of forest and then replant hybridized types of trees back in place. That seems a little fishy also. I see that as a local Oregon resident growing up here for 30 years. They do that to these forests.
Yeah. But they're so worried about environmentalism, they put GMO fish and GMO
trees. BLM.
That's amazing. That's
Bureau of Land Management. That's a government affiliation, I would say.
No, and if you look at the amount of government land in America, you can look up a graph of this, or a picture of the United States, color differentiated. What's American soil and what's government soil? Guess who has more?
Government soil. It was never theirs to begin with.
No.
Statists, arbiters, see? They just want to control everything. They just take more and more and more. When do we get ours? No. Step off. Do not deplatform people like Alex Jones. The ideas are bulletproof. Streisand effect is happening. That's why we're even more riled up. We're ready for this.
No,
you want to come at us on this level with information, economically, trying to take away the future of our children. No.
Yeah, no, you've triggered a lot of people. I'm sorry, I'm addressing YouTube here and all these media platforms. You've triggered a lot of people in a way that you don't want. Well, I mean, you trigger people that are sensitive, and
we're the kings of meme warfare. You'll get stomped.
Yeah, no, the left can't meme.
You ain't got no imagination. That's why you have to stifle the speech of people like Alex Jones and Rufio Panman and all the others. I know there's so many. There's so many in the last few days I can't even count because they deplatformed them all. They'll probably try to deplatform us.
And we're just a little.
We're gonna keep spreading this video by hand if we have to. And then what are you gonna do, YouTube?
Yeah, no, they're not going to do anything. They can't do anything. But they're still a private thing, and they have their terms of service. Anyway, CNN founder Ted Turner goes further to say Oh, no, I'm sorry. I already read that quote. Here's a better one. Dave Foreman, the co-founder of Earth First, says that reducing our population down to 100 million is one of his 3 main goals. Quote, my 3 main goals would be to reduce human population to about 100 million worldwide, destroy the industrial infrastructure and see wilderness.
Who is this cucklord?
with its full complement of species.
Does he even have a child? Does he have a kid?
Returning throughout the world.
I would guarantee you he does not have a kid and has no inner feelings like about what that has to do with anything. He probably had an effed up childhood too.
No, he
probably never got in a fight.
problems.
Probably never tested himself in any way.
No.
Just become trash.
Probably just a beta male trying to control other people because that's what gets.
That's what he gets off on.
Yeah.
Interesting. You're just like, oh yes, I love it. I love being a manipulator. It's disgusting. Why?
Disgusting. I can't help but.
Why can't you just be upfront and be yourself? Wear your heart on your shoulder. What happened to that? What happened to that?
What happened is, well, some of them got banned off YouTube.
Oh,
No,
interesting.
I'm sorry. Okay, anyway.
It's almost like they're trying to keep good people from connecting.
Yeah, okay. Sadly, this kind of garbage is even being taught in major U.S. universities. For example, professor of biology at University of Texas in Austin, Eric R. Placarence. Can you pronounce that right so people know what to look up? Placarence. What is his name? Placarence. So
Plankaons?
Placarence? Okay.
Plankaons?
Planka.
That's pretty interesting.
ONCE, yeah, weird name, wrote the following, quote, I do not bear any ill will towards people. However, I am convinced that the world, including all humanity, would clearly be much better off without so many of us. Well, that's yeah.
Pretty much, dude. Like, are you whining? Are you slamming your fists and feet on the floor while you throw a fit? Did someone steal your binky?
Are we screaming at the sky when Trump got elected? Oh, wait.
This apparently is an art, folks. An art major. She's an art major. Art is really going downhill.
But this is no. Anyway,
I feel like I need a picture of this dude. Who is this guy?
he's probably somebody you wouldn't let babysit your children. That's for sure.
Oh, God, no.
Anyway, okay. Mikhail Gorbachev. Is that Gorbachev? Gorbachev. Mikhail Gorbachev.
Mother Russia. Yes.
Reducing the global population.
They're becoming more libertarian too, which is nice.
There is a lot of good things about Russia.
They're starting to come around.
They don't have a secret Stasi.
Is that hate speech too?
Oh, we must be Russian bots.
30 years in Oregon. Born and raised. Interesting, but I'm Russian. I look Russian. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm a white boy. Oh, wait, don't
said white.
I don't. Oh.
It's not okay to be white.
Get out of here.
Anyway, Mikhail Gorbachev thinks that reducing the global population by 90% would be just about right. Quote, we must speak more clearly about sexuality, contraception, about abortion, about values that control population because the ecological crisis, in short, is the population crisis. Cut the population by 90%, and there aren't enough people left to do a great deal of ecological damage. But most of the time, so that's the end.
But what ecological damage are we talking about that hasn't been started by the globalists in the first place? Idiot.
It's true, though. Most of the normal people aren't going out and cutting down rainforests. Normal people aren't building nuclear reactors.
No, they're getting paid to do it by corporations. Fortune 1000s probably, or shit trails of them. Let's just put it that way. Slug trail, sorry, G-rated.
Like chemtrails, but worse.
Maybe you need to duck that one out. Jeez.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Remember,
Gets me riled up. This is unreal. This is reality we are living in, but it is unreal to come to the precipice of all this information.
That makes me feel like William Wallace in Braveheart. We will not take our freedom.
It's like you're looking over a battlefield, or you're looking over the pits of fucking hell. Sorry.
Okay.
Did it again. But it's serious.
No, it is. It's very serious. We're trying to have satire. We're trying to be a little comedic here and there because what are we gonna do? We're gonna cry about it if we don't laugh. So we gotta keep, Okay, anyway.
Gotta find the humor in the storm, right? That's finding the light in the storm a little bit,
Sure.
finding the humor. You're getting bullets rained down on you. You're gonna look over at your buddy and be like, "You ready to do this shit, dude?" You're gonna be fucking trying to find some humor in that moment, I'm sure, because it's gonna be scary as shit.
But most of the time, the way the global elites speak about population control is much more political.
That doesn't mean I'm scared to die, and I will fight for my country.
No,
Tooth and nail.
and we'll never commit suicide. So if we ever commit suicide,
Pry my gun from my cold, dead hands.
don't tread on me. Well, they're more politically correct. They tend to use terms such
Second
as
Amendment.
sustainable
In
development,
defense.
reduction of fertility rates, and quality of life when discussing the need to reduce population. As 7 billion day approaches, there have been articles popping up in major publications all over the globe that are advocating increased population control measures. Of course, in the Western world, such measures are always framed as being voluntary. But that's the way that they always introduce things like this. Once enough people get on board with the voluntary population control measures, they will become they'll become subservient to it, or they will just become covertly poisoned, like we talk about the genetic manipulation, GMOs in the water, the fluoride, everything, constant bombardment.
Which is a force multiplier either way. If you eat healthy, you're going to feel really healthy and go up with it. If you don't eat healthy, it's going to keep going down and you're going to dig your hole so much deeper. That's why people are having such a hard time pouring through all of this information to kind of hash it out and make sense of it all, right?
Absolutely, you got to spend time, you got to be dedicated and find. So to end this article with the population control, I think you guys get it, what they're after. Just a couple more quotes. This comes from Jeffrey D. Sachs, the director of the Earth Institute at Columbia University. Recently said the following in an article for CNN. Loved CNN, the Clinton News Network, the Clown News Network. Quote, the arrival of the 7 billionth person in case of profound global concern. It carries a challenge. What will we take to maintain the
America first,
a planet
MAGA,
in which each person has a chance for a full, productive, and prosperous life, in which the planet's resources are sustained for future generations? How, in short, can we enjoy sustainable development on a very crowded planet? And see, why the fuck are they saying, crowded planet, sustainable resources.
Crowded planet. Why are we just populating the planet? Why don't we take those people that are crowding the planet and put them on another planet?
Yeah, see, they're not really, they're not trying to do that. It's so weird.
No. Okay, so what is this? This seems like it's going to a dark place really quickly then. So they want humanity to end when the world potentially does too, or if our sun goes out, solar flare, all these different scientists pose all these different hypotheses on why the Earth could potentially end. If that was a potential, which even scientists are aware of, why isn't that the end goal to find a sustainable answer to that?
And that's that's the crux of all this. Is why isn't it that they have no?
But it's extinguished lives. It's abortion. It's vaccines. It's GMOs. It's water. We need to poison the water, and we need to shorten your lifespan. And don't worry about the cancer cells. You can get chemo, which will kill you even faster. Trust me, I've watched it happen to my grandfather. Cannabis doesn't do anything, and we're definitely not going to decriminalize it. Don't worry about that.
I made it a class. Well,
take our pharmaceuticals, please. Take them. Eat them like candy.
Yeah.
Buongiorno.
What the hell are you doing?
Oh, mi scusi.
Oh, no.
Mi scusi.
What?
Big tunnel.
Even though you need a pill for every pill you take, so you end up with like 12 pills for one.
So end up with scrotal implosion.
And they say it's supposed to be voluntary, right? This whole, but then people aren't. I mean, look, if these people are so pro-environment and they don't want that many people, why aren't they jumping off
Politically,
buildings?
of course.
Well, no, but why are, if they're talking about getting rid of all these people and there's 7 billion people in the world and that's too much, why aren't they jumping off buildings? Why aren't they killing themselves in the name of preserving the planet's sustainability?
That's a really good angle that you're hitting there, dude.
Because they're
like, that's hypocrisy to their very thought process. They expect other people to go kill themselves because you're the insect, of course. No,
they must think they're more powerful or godlike or something, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
what's their trick? Why are they so egocentric and hell-bent on making us insignificant?
It's really, we have a lot of powerful stuff.
That's fighting words. Again, that's fisticuffs. Let's find a ring. Let's make it legit.
$1 million pay-per-view right now. Just kidding.
Let's find our accusers. Let's find the people who are doing this, who think this is it. Like, why aren't they? If they think this is the answer, why don't they get up and debate it? Why is it a constant disinformation magician act?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how they never come on all the major leading independent thoughts and come head to head. No.
It's like watching a Yu-Gi-Oh episode and they're like, "Oh, I played Dark Magician."
Behold! The magician of black chaos!
No, not him!
I play a trap! It's a trap! Ha ha ha!
It's a trap, you fucking Admiral Akbar.
General Akbar. It's a trap.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
Everything's a dang trap, dude. Come on. What is this? Purge the centralized systems, the banking systems, the video systems like we were just talking about. Come on, people, what is this? Stand up for the right of humanity, not just even America. It's for the right of humanity. We're all connected. Come on.
And just always, we don't disable the comments because we're not going to censor people.
Non-fascist, I like to say,
yeah,
because like anti-fascist has this weird taint on it now. They like to, assault people,
or just disable the comments because they're saying something provocative and extreme.
Or disable the comments.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good point.
Yeah. So just comment and let us know what you think for this first segment. We're coming up on a break here pretty quick. We got a lot more stuff to cover. We're gonna do the second half.
We need to hit, like, why would we be mining these planets?
Yeah, what's in them? Why is it valuable to us? Right.
Possible thing to get into there, how do we get there? Is there withheld technologies? I don't know.
And that's a big part of it, is the withheld technologies limiting us from achieving this. And we have some really hard-hitting articles on that.
Who's standing in the way? Is it the government? I don't know. Stay tuned. Stay tuned and we'll find out. Until then, enjoy the meme warfare. Thanks.
I'm gonna bomb the shit out of them.
America, fuck yeah! Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah! America, fuck yeah! Freedom is the only way, yeah! Terrorists, your game is through, 'cause now you have to answer to America, fuck yeah! So lick my blood and suck on my bones, America, fuck yeah! What you gonna do when we come for you now? It's the dream that we all share. It's the hope for tomorrow. Fuck yeah!
Women's History Month isn't about taking away anything from men, okay? I wouldn't dream of it.
Right, so you just symbolically chopped a penis in half. Because depicting genital mutilation doesn't make you look like a stereotypically crazed, unhinged feminist at all. No!
You've restarted,
let me
fair
just
enough.
stop you so you don't waste a line of questioning. I'm just giving you...
I love the mansplaining. I'm enjoying it.
You're loving what?
The mansplaining that's going on.
Well, just talking me through how by not answering the question by repeating processes which are not related to the question that I've asked.
What's mansplaining, Senator?
Well, it's the slightly patronising and condescending way that you're responding to my questions.
Well, I would suggest, Senator, that if you're putting the word man in front of some description of what I'm doing, you're doing that which I'm sure you're very much against, is making a sexist implication about how I'm conducting my role as a man.
Well, then the easiest way to do it...
Is that what you're saying, Senator?
Well,
Fucking right in the pussy.
Confirmed kill.
what I'm saying is that the way you've been responding to me has been patronising and condescending, and I have responded to that. So the easiest way to deal with this is not to have that way in responding to the questions I've asked.
Imagine the reaction, Senator, if I said you were woman-splaining. You're saying that I'm mansplaining.
Well, it is a term that's used.
Is it by whom?
Well, it is a term that's used.
By rude,
doesn't make
by rude senators. By senators who are seeking to make gender an issue. Stop being a hypocrite.
Well,
Conduct yourself appropriately for this place.
I'm sorry you're so offended by the use of the word. It is a word that's used. I'm surprised that you're so shocked by the use of the word.
No, I'm just calling hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. Thy name is Labor. Thy name is Senator Gallagher.
Learn what mansplaining is, and then stop doing it.
Yeah, learn what being a retard is, and then stop doing it.
When historians look back on the Trump presidency, they'll say that this was the week that something changed. Something really shifted.
Push! Oh, God! Push! Oh.
And the conversations about the president, uncomfortable questions, moved into the mainstream in a big way. Trump's odd behavior with Vladimir Putin is compelling so many people to ask, what does Putin have on Trump? Has Trump been compromised? All of those people, those experts, those reporters, they are looking at the fact pattern and they're seeing something strange, even something sinister.
I'm actually really in celebration of my body. I find beauty in diversity. I think we come in all shapes and sizes. And the assumption that we've dealt with a lot on this show is that just because you're obese, you must overeat. You must have an eating disorder. I know that not to be the case. I know you can.
You want to feel good about yourself. It's impossible to feel good about yourself when you're doing something that's self-destructive. Also, self-destructive behaviors that result in damage or debilitation or even disfigurement to the body, that's never going to be perceived as beautiful.
Confirmed kill.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
You just got roasted.
Sit down. Sit down. We'll get it.
Just because of the attack of fake news and attacking our network, I just want to ask you, sir.
I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?
Smoke, 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 weed. Hey.
Come here, coward. Come here, coward. Right here on camera. Right here. Tell people intellectually who you are.
Intellectually who I am?
Go ahead, yeah.
I'm your mama.
Yeah, I can't even talk. Look at you. Hey, this is what they turn the people into. This is.
Everyone has AIDS. AIDS, AIDS, AIDS. AIDS, 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 AIDS.
See that? That's who they are.
Look at the slave.
Everyone has AIDS. My grandma and my dog go blue. The Pope has got it, and so do you.
Conspiracy radio broadcaster Tuck Buckford, the host of Brain Fight. Take a look. Alex Jones has been spreading vile conspiracy theories that hurt real people for years.
Haterade, the knockoff sports drink for athletic Klansmen, okay? This is the only cream-based sports drink for sale on the dark web. Haterade, win the race and the race war.
You are fake news, sir.
Hey guys, we're back.
What's up, guys?
I hope you enjoyed the meme warfare.
Where were we?
Where were we? I mean, in general, we were looking at interplanetary exploration, right?
Yeah.
We were kind of looking at the inner workings of why there's such a suppression on it. And there's a clear agenda towards that, and why we're, and how we're deprogramming it.
Yeah.
By the GMOs, the dark funds, eugenics, economical warfare, carbon tax. We broke a lot of that down,
The First Amendment attack.
Because it's the sustainability of humanity, right?
Well, and the answer to overpopulation is interplanetary exploration, and we
or eugenics, of course.
Oh,
oh God.
Yeah, I'm not going to vote for that one. Anyway, so why was it we're talking about? So the business side, the monetary side of interplanetary exploration. What is it in it for us? What is the driving force that? I mean, societies have always existed.
That's
on
a really good point.
A barter and trade system or a currency. So what is there in space as far as a currency?
Well, I mean, Earth, is made out of metallics. It's a silicon and carbon based planet. Metallics normally occur on carbon silicon planets. There's 40 billion planets, like we had said prior, 40 billion planets that are Earth-like.
Right.
Earth-like planets.
And just in the Milky Way.
Just in the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of, do I have to point a finger? Does that kind of explain itself a little bit? Maybe not. Here, I'll delve into it. Interplanetary exploration to then find other metallic planets. We'll find other planets that have metallic components to them and mine it just like we do here on Earth. Except, wouldn't that be more sustainable to take it from maybe another planet that's not Earth?
Well, there's the thing, is that these guys over here proposing overpopulation, the solution to that is thinning the herd. the solution to what they call non-renewable resources. That's what they're
thinning the herd. What does that even mean? Jesus.
They refer to these the way that we produce energy on our planet, besides wind, besides solar, and besides water power. They refer to them as non-renewable, meaning they don't renew, which is false because over time they do, but it takes a very long time. Going out into space, going out and harvest mining, the metallic properties that make up our early metal-based currency system. We had gold. Gold has been a currency for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And there's gold. There's There's titanium. There's diamonds. There's gases. There's all sorts of. There's just a massive amount
of minerals that are completely usable.
Probably coal, even
natural gases.
Yeah.
That are harvestable. That you don't have to harvest from Earth.
No fracking, you're not hurting the planet. This is the solution.
This is a solution. This isn't a stifling of thinning the herd.
Mm-hmm.
What, like I said, what does that even mean? Who's playing God at that point? Who gets to pick and choose, who gets thinned? Oh, no, you don't get to make it. What does that even mean?
But they're playing God, and that's what they're hoping on, is that we do not be able to. In my opinion, is that we don't.
How do you even choose that? Who are you? You're disgusting.
And that's the globalist. There's lots of writings on just what we went over. It's pretty disgusting. But anyway, the mining, and we'll get into.
But that doesn't even seem feasible, though, does it? Do we even have the technology to get to another planet?
We'll see. And now you're opening up this whole different wavelength on why is the government not letting us do this or giving us exactly the technology. That's what all revolves around, this technology.
Is there a technology suppression too? Is there multiple levels to this?
No, I believe so, very much so. And there's lots of documents that are proving that. And you guys, the audience here, can look it up. Do the information work yourself. You have resources. We have the biggest amount of resources in humankind ever. We can, the internet, good Lord, it's censored, but.
I'd like to prolong my family tree. That'd be kind of cool. Just saying.
Just saying, right? Okay. Well, anyway, so let's talk about this mining and the monetary ways, and maybe, okay, we'll get on those. But like you said, withheld technologies. What are we going to use to get that? To get those minerals, to make that happen, to start colonizing space, to making synthetic atmospheres and
harvesting minerals.
So what would be some of the possibilities that we could use for that?
Do you think there's weaponry?
The term advanced technology, it covers a whole spectrum of things withheld from us for a long time.
HEL MD, or High Energy Laser Mobile Demonstrator. This vehicle-mounted system successfully demonstrated its effectiveness on the battlefield by taking down mortar rounds and unmanned aerial vehicles in mid-flight. By mounting the laser on multiple vehicles, this weapon can be used to defend an entire battalion of troops. Even in dense fog, which tends to scatter a laser's light energy, the HEL MD has performed extremely well. When a mortar or UAV is launched against friendly forces, the HEL MD uses an enhanced multi-mode radar system to gain a precise aiming point within seconds. After a beam director pinpoints a very specific spot, the laser is fired. Traveling at the speed of light, the laser actually burns into the target, causing catastrophic damage and stopping its progress. Watch as this shipborne laser weapon sets this unmanned drone ablaze. This is the XN-1 LAWS directed energy weapon. During field testing in 2014 aboard the U.S. Navy ship the USS Ponce, the LAWS system not only took out this UAV, but also successfully engaged a small unmanned patrol boat. With tracking and firing conducted from a control room aboard the ship, this 30 kilowatt laser can engage enemy targets at light speed from tactically significant distances. Though the US Navy won't define what they mean by tactically significant, most experts believe it refers to the ability to fire the LAWS while still out of the range of enemy fire. One of the LAWS' most insane aspects is that while firing missiles, it can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars each, while one firing of the LAWS laser costs about $1 to $2.
That uses just electricity, no gunpowder, and oh, by the way, can shoot a projectile like this, well over 100 miles at Mach 7.
7 times the speed of sound.
7 times the speed of sound.
Rear Admiral Matthew Plunder is the chief of naval research which developed the railgun. That chunky object is the projectile. An electromagnetic pulse propels it down the barrel, creating a fireball of molten steel. The projectile sheds its steel cladding, and in video released for the first time today, it smashes into a dummy warhead that represents an incoming missile. The explosion is caused by the sheer force of the impact.
This is a lab gun, and it shoots a slug about this big. So think about that, a slug that big. A slug that big going Mach 7 puts a hole through 6 half-inch steel plates this big. Just this little slug.
Went through all of these.
All 6 of those. There's not a thing in the sky that's going to survive against that.
Long time.
Wow.
Nikola Tesla is one of the prime
Nikola
examples.
Tesla, dude.
One of the prime
That guy was
examples.
amazing. That guy was from another planet. He had to have been. I'm not saying he was.
He was pretty tall.
But he was a man before his time.
Oh, definitely.
That's probably why he was so foreign to this time era.
Some of the list of what he's invented, well, he's like the father of modern technology, and some of the crazy shit that happened. We have an article.
I think I have a list of his invention, or the propagation to what led to the invention of. So I guess someone stole his ideas in a way. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting on to some.
Or took credit for it after.
Yeah, or took credit for it. Maybe we have a Mark Zuckerberg situation here.
Took
the idea of Facebook. Whoops.
Thank you for having me here today.
Please sit on my face.
Thank you, Senator Feinstein. Now, Senator Hatt. Soon will chair.
Follow up on this, but I think you and I agree this is going to be one.
You are taking steps to prevent Facebook from serving
the software we offer. Facebook's products are products.
From the Senate print shop with the message that was the first business card they'd ever printed a Facebook.
Question basically of what
It's clean. It's cold. And that's what I call high quality A2O.
Some Napster shit going down. Anyways, Nikola Tesla, what an amazing man, though. Some of his inventions, they include the X-ray, the radio, alternating current is the biggest one. That's the biggest one. They got highly suppressed by General Electric and JP Morgan.
Yeah.
Which this article, I believe, gets into. This article also states that he came up with electric motors, remote control, robotics, laser technology, a pioneer of laser technology, and wireless communications, and limitless free energy.
My God.
Limitless.
Where does this
infinity amount?
Where does this article come from? I forgot.
This is by Catalyzing Change, and this was posted back in January 26th, 2014.
That's still pretty relevant. Yeah, I mean, this guy's relevant since whenever he so this is still a long time ago. When did he live? What was his time frame? I forgot.
It goes on to state, this article is actually a really great article. He lived from 1856 to 1943.
Wow. So
he wasn't extremely old when he died, was he?
It wasn't that old, but for the timeline, I mean, that's like sort of life expectancy. But whether
it's
or
not
not
too bad. But
all his shit went missing when he died.
That's a big question. Wow. Dab moment? Maybe. The Croatian-born Tesla, the parents of Serbia, was a towering 6'6" tall and could speak 6 languages fluently. So an intelligent man, highly intelligent. Nikola Tesla presented free energy to the public in 1901 when he demonstrated the Wardenclyffe in Shoreham, Long Island, New York. Nikola Tesla and free energy challenged J.P. Morgan, which is now going after like the banking system and our stock exchange, trying to just hoard all the money like just a endless black hole. I seriously think we need the the old flashlight meme there. Anyways,
he's like Smog the Dragon sitting on all that fucking giant.
He's just like Jabba the Hutt, dude. Anything.
Not to be confused.
He's like Ben Stiller at the end of Dodgeball. Just feed me more money.
Oh God.
It's just terrible. Sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize. Back to the serious notes. I apologize. Excuse me. Digress. Trying to put on a show for you guys just a little bit. The harnessing of energy was clear in Tesla's mind. This energy could not be measured on a meter, which meant it could not be used to make money.
Wow. That's really prolific. He was trying to...
The result. Nikola Tesla was immediately unfunded, ridiculed, condemned, and shut up, while his notes and discoveries were stolen, in some cases destroyed. Why would they destroy them? It's not that they were worth money, they destroyed them.
They were
because they don't want people to get them. They don't want someone to get them. That's why you destroy something. If I can't have it, no one can have it.
Yeah.
Me.
And that's for the energy.
Throw a fit, bang my fist on the floor, kick my feet.
And that's the leaders of the energy world in America at that time.
How could you?
Yeah, how could, seriously.
What's wrong with your head? Get your head on right.
They wanted a monopoly.
Jeez.
They wanted a monopoly like they have today. And if he would have started...
I'm so fancy. What?
No, you're right. No, you're right.
I go to clubs and I do these weird rituals and have sex with so many people.
Yeah, that makes you cool today. That makes you trendy, apparently.
Yeah, just getting it in whenever you can with anything you can.
Yeah, anything.
Gross. Yeah, you could be faithful to one person.
All right. Okay, anyway.
That's hate speech.
I know. We're going to get banned.
Do we have to start worshiping again?
It's going to bow down to YouTube.
We got to get the brownie points back, don't we?
I know, God. YouTube, please forgive us.
YouTube, come on. This is serious. This is real life. Quit banning people over crap. Sorry. Anyways. Is that bullying? Am I bullying YouTube now?
Oh, man.
Oh, my Lord.
They're so sensitive.
My Lord.
They're so sensitive.
They're so sensitive. It's about sensitivity, though.
Yeah, I know. We need sensitivity training. Well, they actually call those re-education camps, though.
We need to go to the re-education camps to get sensitivity training. But are they going to be sensitive to what we eat in our living conditions in those camps?
And they're probably not going to be cameras, so no.
No, I don't think so. It sounds kind of reminiscent of
Nazi Germany.
Interesting.
A little bit. Anyway, so Nikola Tesla challenged J.P. Morgan, the heavyweight elite globalist.
It just goes so deep.
For
I
energy.
apologize.
Yeah,
It's easy to go on a tangent. If you follow this, close enough, the tangents happen so fast.
Digress.
Back to the article. He was ridiculed and unfunded, like we said, and his stuff destroyed eventually. Eventually destroyed.
As soon as he offered free unlimited energy, because people couldn't. All right, anyway, go on.
Because people could put all their money into stuff that actually matters, like getting to space.
What pisses me off? It really pisses me off.
It does. It's infuriating.
Okay, come on.
Thomas Edison. Interesting. His inventions were credited to others, such as Thomas Edison, and he died. Barely known. Much of the highest technologies of the world today are based on the works of Nikola Tesla. Even the secret government programs, such as the Philadelphia experiment and Montauk Project, were based on the discoveries of Nikola Tesla.
Wow.
The photo below is of Nikola Tesla in a multiple exposure photo in 1899 as a Tesla coil discharged millions of volts.
Here, show it for the
This actually is a really, really cool photo.
It is.
This is impressive. This is what this man did.
Yeah, he's just sitting
Look
under
at
there.
those bolts of lightning, people. Look at that. He's sitting under it reading a book or reading papers.
Yeah, because he knew the mathematics. He knew exactly.
He knew that it was safe. Alternating current is safe, unlike direct current, where it can pump amps into you.
Yeah.
And instantly kill you, and instantly kill any human. And then we have all these outlets, at infant level when they're crawling around, and you got to put
little covers
on them because it's dangerous and it could instantly take their life if they accidentally stick something in there because they don't know any better. But we'll use the direct current. Thank you, J.P. Morgan.
Thank you, J.P. Morgan.
Gutter slut. Oh, that's hate speech, bullying.
You've waken it up. You've woken up the dragon.
You asked for it. Why are you censoring people for no reason?
Excuse me.
Apologize. I'll bring it back on. Perhaps it is better in this present world of ours that a revolutionary idea or invention, instead of being helped and patted, be hampered and ill-treated in its adolescence. By want of means, by selfish interests and pedantry, stupidity and ignorance, that it be attacked and stifled. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I believe this is a quote by him.
That it pass through bitter trials and tribulations, through the heartless strife of commercial existence. So do we get our light. So all that was great in the past was ridiculed, condemned, combated, suppressed, only to emerge all the more powerfully, all the more triumphantly from the struggle. Nikola Tesla, 1905, on the suppression of advanced technologies to feed the power structure, the military industrial complex.
So he knew about this stuff.
Economy, oil, and companies. What we are just talking about and deprogramming globalism in the earlier part of the segment. The GMOs, the water, the genetic manipulation, eugenics program, which is part of the genetic manipulation. No XX and XY chromosomes, you get to pick what you are. Carbon tax, overpopulation, eugenics is the answer to the overpopulation. It just feeds right into all of this.
Yeah, no,
the globalism exists, the complex exists, whatever you want to label it as.
No, he was
evil.
He was
nature.
He was an awake guy, dude. He knew that they were going to suppress him, and he knew exactly when he got defunded. It is J.P. Morgan. What? See, that's the thing that boggles my mind. Why would he sign up with such a guy for his funding?
See, and this is even more dangerous. Nikola Tesla wasn't the only one in the U.S. that was placed under secrecy orders, and this has happened to thousands of inventors.
Yeah, absolutely.
The dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweigh the dangers that are cited to justify them. There is a very grave danger that an announced need for an increased level of security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of censorship and concealment. That I do not tend to permit, so long as it's in my control. And that was JFK. He got his brains blown out for doing libertarian thought processes and movements like that.
He crossed
through with what the Republic wanted.
He crossed the Fed. He crossed the Federal Reserve. He crossed the big banksters and mobsters that get a share.
And the Fed, IRS and Fed. No one regulates the Fed. Who's dark funds? That was one of the things we were talking about in deprogramming globalism. That's why we're looking towards our interplanetary exploration as our answer to the solution to stop the stifling of humanity. Eugenics? What? Why? No, that's not a solution. That's killing off offspring. That's killing off potential DNA, potential humans that could have an entire life, an entire existence here on Earth, or potentially another planet. That's where that comes in.
What we're saying is that the elite have taken over this world as we know it. With their rules, it's their game. The only way to get it back is going to have to be through bloodshed, just like in 1776. They're designing it that way. What we're saying is we don't want that. If there's a way to get around that,
if we're going to do it informationally.
Yes,
exactly.
The information work.
That's why we're reaching out to YouTube. But I'm sure just for having this stance, they're going to try to deplatform us.
Right, and space is the option besides having a direct war using our Second Amendment to take back our country and our planet. We can use space, and we can just completely go around their whole pincher attack on everything that we know. We don't have to battle them because we don't have to do any of that. If we can get the technology and we can get outside of this atmosphere and we can do what we're talking about, we have some other examples of why we think this is going to be a beneficial thing for humanity, why we don't have to fight them. If we don't have, we don't have to, if we can make this happen. It's just thoughts,
they're coming at it like on a claustrophobic level, just trying to encroach on every little angle that they can, taking away little instances here and there when it was our instance to have in the first place. They don't get to say that.
No.
Just short of infringing on other people's free will, which is what they are doing. They're infringing on our free will. Like we said, economically, they want the carbon tax, and that's why they're trying to manipulate things to look a certain way and pushing things in mainstream media propaganda. Brian Stelter,
yeah.
It's bad. Megyn Kelly that was a terrible one. I know we were watching a couple of them today with just some fat bastard gremlin, like the Goblin King,
On
just
BBC.
laughing about it when it's Alex Jones that's being interviewed, and he's spouting nothing but truth. He's spouting nothing but truth. It's all factual, but they just sit there and laugh it off like it's not happening and compartmentalize the reality of things.
Right, and they make him seem like he's crazy, and that's what they're going to do with us if we actually reach a level that is effective. I hope we do become effective. That's what part of the information war is. Anyway, on with this article.
This is kind of our test also. This is a little bit of a test run, you know. If we only have a few views right now, you know, we're very small, you know. Are they gonna deplatform, you know, just a small little radio show like us? Like, seriously? Do I have to repeat myself one more time? I wish I had an answer for that. It's complete hypocrisy.
It's gone to a bizarre level, and I wouldn't put it past them.
But they can put, you know, like felony fights and like half-naked women and, you know, I'm trying to
just graphic content on
completely satanic stuff. It's fine. Islamic
spirit cooking, beheading.
Wait, I can't say Islamic.
You can't
stuff. I'm not trying to be a phobe. I can't be a phobe. Islamophobe. Sorry.
Anyway, back to the article.
Back to the
suppressed technologies. This
getting serious.
Yeah.
Anyways, Nikola Tesla was on the brink of exposing withheld technologies that are being suppressed to this day. This was a while ago, you know.
Yeah.
There's, you know, what else is being suppressed? There's secret government testing that's being suppressed. I know that for a fact.
Absolutely.
Did we grab any documents on that?
About secret government testing? For like UFOs, and we talk about.
I know we were looking at the secret space program. I know that at least exists. They don't expose their inner workings, you know, as far as what they do, really, but we know they exist.
We know they exist, and we know that
whatever that means.
Well, no, we know that there's
that could just be a dark fund, kind of like NASA is one of those subjects that we get on. I know NASA has quite a few proven dark funds on paper.
Well, NASA is part of the secret space program. There are supposedly dead Chinese on the moon. Nobody knows that. Apparently, the China's never been to the moon. Why the fuck would they say that? And then we got all these astronauts that died in space wars, apparently, and things of that nature. That 80%, 90% of NASA missions to space are classified. How do we know? How do we know? We don't know. We're only given what we're fed. They treat us like mushrooms. They keep us in the dark and feed us shit all day. So, you know, we're just going off of what we can prove and what we can look at with our vast availability on the internet. The internet is a wonderful thing, but they're trying to suppress it, and that's what we keep coming back to this First Amendment thing. I mean, it's a big part of it. It really is a big part of it. Anyway, with the whole suppressed technologies and Nikola Tesla and what was
really where the heirloom rose, man.
Well, we should be viewed as such, but they're scared of that, dude.
Like, we're the ones that want to hit that final frontier, dude. We want to go to space. That's the last front of Pioneer.
That's what's out there. It's what it
space, the final frontier.
It also frees humanity. It frees up humanity from these chains of prison planet that we're talking about. So this globalist agenda of trying to stifle you on every level, like deplatforming you on YouTube. Come on. Goodness gracious.
Anyway, that article on Nikola Tesla talked about the, what was it?
I'm going to keep hitting on that one. Yeah. Quit the hammering.
Stop the hammering out there. Who's got a hammer? Where is it?
I don't know.
Where's the hammer? Is it on the, go up on the other floor. Somebody go up there and stop the hammering.
What was it?
I'm going to keep hitting on that one. Yeah. Quit the hammering.
I love it.
Because we got to sustain humanity. And to be able to do that, you go and mine these planets, right? You mine the planets, they got the metals, they got pretty much everything we need.
They got resources.
They've proven there's water on other planets. You go and look at these government.org websites. It's there. They tell you the percentages of water on the planets. Water can be used as a fuel source, you know. Alternative fuels are being suppressed.
Absolutely.
There's government documents on that, I believe. They're a little bit hard to dig up.
You have to spend time.
Please, Bing, search engine, please, just do it. Just search engine it. Open your mind up. Open your consciousness up to this possible propagation of a new plane of reality. And, you know, I mean, the Earth isn't flat, people.
Oh God, we could go on for hours about how the Earth's not flat. If you believe the Earth is flat, I'm sorry. Okay, you probably don't believe dinosaurs are real. You probably believe Alex Jones is also Bill Hicks, but this is not for you.
Alex Jones is not Bill Hicks.
If you think the Earth is flat, this is probably not for you. Anyway, as far as withheld technologies, we've gone over Tesla and the weaponry. I mean, we're talking. Well, there's articles online about AC-130. You know, giant. You know, those military jets having laser beams on the front of them. They're like condensed. You know, like the little laser dot you play with your dog on the wall with. That can incinerate buildings. And we got all the what is it? What is it called? The what kind of drive is it? The special
ion proton
the ion engine and shit like that.
They manipulate the electrons in the atmosphere or closed by environment. I'm having lots of words.
No, and that's not mainstream media though. Nobody's talking about the ion drive. Nobody's talking about the plasma technology, the things they're developing. That just the tiny little sliver, the top of the iceberg is getting declassified. I believe, in my opinion.
Give it all to us. It doesn't matter. You're talking about extinguishing people down to 500 million when there's 7 billion. You're trying to save people, right? You're trying to have sustainability of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Another great aspect of the withheld technologies is the life extension technologies that were supposedly to make us live longer and be able to keep the cures for cancer and most of the cancer things that have been engineered in the vaccines. Just saying, viruses and all the sorts of super bugs that are.
Why don't they let third party independent licensed labs test all of this stuff? Why don't they?
Why is it that they get their own vaccines from a special place? They don't use their own vaccines. They don't eat their own food. No, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Anyway, I got a Prison Planet article here. The truth will set you free. In pursuit of immortality, the science behind life extension. This is by.
So this is withheld technologies that are being suppressed. Life extension.
Absolutely, life extension, weaponry.
So people living longer than 70 years, or what's like the oldest guy, 125.
Yeah, and he's decrepit and can't wipe his ass.
Right.
We're like 125 and you're doing pull-ups, you know, so that kind of that sort of shit. Like that stuff is hidden away. That stuff, cryogenic technology. Take a look into that. That's pretty crazy stuff. What we've been able to do with transplanting and making, and I don't want to get like the whole thing where they talk about stem cells and they use fucking dead babies for research with that. No, you can grow your own stem cells. You don't have to use dead babies for it. And you can clone kidneys, you can clone lungs. They have the ability to do it. They don't for the general public though. That's not going to be accessible unless we get it, unless we take it, unless we, do what we're doing now. Anyway, this is written by Christy McKinley, MD. So she's obviously a doctor.
MD.
And the Family Health Guide, Wednesday, July 22nd, 2009. So this is an older article, but still relevant. Since the beginning of recorded history, humans have searched for the key to immortality and eternal youth. From epic Gilgamesh, recorded on clay tablets around 2000 BC, to Ponce de Leon's framed search for the fountain of youth in the New World, the extension of life has been a reoccurring theme for humanity. Today's scientists are coming closer than ever to making real medical breakthroughs that will cure aging and eventually bring an end to natural death. Pharmaceutical discoveries and advancements in the field of nanotechnology, cloning, stem cell research, and cryogenics offer tantalizing glimpses of a future free from old age and the ability to actually reverse the aging process itself. Possibilities that life extension experts feel could become a reality in 2019. Of course, along with these discoveries come ethical questions about the meaning of life in the absence of death and the fate of religion, as well as the concerns of overpopulation, boredom, and why anyone would really want to live forever. And I don't think that's the thing, is anyone wants to live forever.
Yeah. I think they just want to complete what they feel like they're supposed to finish here.
Right.
You know, their aspirations, their dreams. And when you don't get to fulfill those,
you die an unhappy man.
Die unfulfilled. Doesn't that seem...
yeah, definitely. No,
that seems sad.
The elitists want to merge with machines and live forever because they think we're insects and they're gods. But this is about just regular old people, you know, living, you know, prolonging that lifespan of having a happy time, you know, living, having kids, seeing your grandkids be. How is that bad, you know? If the claims of life extension proponents sound far-fetched, consider the fact that the average human lifespan has doubled since 1900 and continues to increase. Enormous medical advances occurring during the 20th century, resulting in the development of medications and technology that were unattainable at that time less than 100 years ago. Insulin was an unknown insulin was unknown, and type 1 diabetes was a fatal, mysterious disease in 1900. Now, insulin is an inexpensive and easily obtainable drug that saves lives every day. Other medical devices that are commonly used today, like internal pacemakers and contact lenses, were unattainable just 100 years ago. And the rate of medical and scientific advances continues to increase. Force multiplier. I mean, we're on the way if they let us have it. If they don't hide everything from us, that's the thing. Is people have the potential to get this, man. Like, it's being kept from us, though. That's the thing. I think the government is at least 30 to 40, maybe a little less in advance. When they give us iPhones, you know, we're playing with toys. They have something, you know, far more advanced and more than half the stuff I see in the sky. If you ever had a UFO experience,
that was my red pill moment.
For sure.
A UFO is my red pill moment. Isn't that a way to wake up? Some of you have it out there easy. You can just click on YouTube and then go look up some things and have an epiphany on the information level. You have to be, you know, confronted with it head on with something that's completely suppressed and you made to feel crazy about.
Yeah, you don't have to do the ice bucket challenge. You can just watch somebody do it on YouTube. Exactly. And it wakes your ass up, I'll tell you. I've had some stuff I've seen in the sky, and I'm not sure. I think at least 70 to 80% is possibly government technology that's withheld. Yeah, you know, I mean, so.
Well, how would we know? They don't tell us.
No, it's up for debate. Completely up for debate. I have no idea, and it's crazy, and it boggles my mind. People that have had these experiences can resonate with this. People that haven't, well.
And then they make all, like, mainstream media makes a whole bunch of funny jokes. Oh, the green men, the green alien beings, and make it all weird, you know, about aliens. I don't know. There's a lot of information suppression going on here.
There are twisting of words and a lot of redirection of intent, things like, yeah.
I just really don't understand what's going on here unless they just don't want us to connect with that some sort of outside influence. Yeah, because then that would be clear.
Yeah, if there was
like it would be like, oh, you can go and harvest things from other planets. Interesting. It'd make you feel pretty stupid if you were, you know, killing how many billion people? 6.5 billion people just to save the planet.
Oh yeah, from 7 billion to 7 billion.
Yeah, from 7 billion to 500 million. That's where I was getting those numbers.
No, that's terrible. I mean, why would you want to do that? Anyway,
but that's sustainable.
That's sustainable. That's so loving and liberal and tolerant. Anyway, in humans, like
a world filled with death. Yeah,
sounds like
sounds pretty satanic, doesn't it?
Like a hell on earth. Yeah, it sounds pretty gross. In humans, like all mammals, aging begins as soon as we reach physical maturity. In fact, with an average lifespan of 70 years at maximum, verified lifespan of 122 years, a typical person spends the majority of their life aging. In biological terms, aging can be defined as the accumulation of damage to macromolecules like DNA, as well as cells, tissues, and organs. The difference in lifespan between species are determined by genetics, differences in the ability to repair damaged DNA, as well as the difference in antioxidant enzymes and free radical production. The science of life extension seeks to exploit these differences and alter the biological pathways involved in aging, with an ultimate goal of immortality. In this feature, a lot of this whole thing, we're going to discuss most promising approaches of life extension. So the article says, and it goes on to talk about, for years, it's been common knowledge that drinking red wine in moderation is good for your heart. What we didn't know why. In 1992, a chemical named resveratrol was suggested as the cause of cardioproductive properties of wine. Unfortunately, you'd have to drink
high potent antioxidant.
You'd have to drink hundreds of bottles of wine each day to consume enough resveratrol to see a significant effect. So work on a pharmaceutical form of resveratrol was begun. Researchers have since shown that resveratrol extends the lifespan of yeast 1, yeah, but studies in other species have had conflicting results. A 2008 study on mice found that while resveratrol causes changes in gene expression that are similar to those caused by dietary restriction of mice, had fewer signs of old age. Unfortunately, they did not live any longer than typical mice. And it goes on to cite another study in 2008 by GlaxoSmithKline, and he purchased some mice, it says, and the company which is developing a proprietary form of resveratrol for $720 million. Their product, SRT-501, is now in phase 2 clinical trials and could be available as in little of 6 years. And this article, I believe, is from 2009. So
Trump, please audit the Fed.
Well, and expose
the IRS. Expose
everything. These life extension technologies, they advance. You know everything.
Help us reback our country with metallic currencies. This is also part of what this, mining is about. We don't have enough metals here on Earth to support the amount of people. That's the problem. That's why we have to go fiat currency, right? The whole petrodollar spiel we went over. That's how they're getting weapons into countries in the Middle East, and even that's a different topic.
And like Fast and Furious, when they blame the Second Amendment, ship guns into Mexico, same kind of deal.
And drugs.
Anyway,
Bill Clinton under
Me Too movement. Oh, but no, it's okay. He gets to do book signing and everything. Anyway, that's hate speech.
The precious metals that we need to reback the American dollar onto a precious metal currency basing, that would force multiply our economy in a way that it would be almost impossible to bring it down.
If you bring back the gold standard, Mr. President,
gold standard, even we could go farther to a platinum standard.
Right. Well, any sort of physical metal, because now you know it. It's like it costs 5 cents to print a penny, even you know that we're so far in debt, and so is every other country. We just print money and we say it's worth this much, and people believe it, and that's what's keeping the economy up. It's not the actual price of the money; it's that people believe in it. The money is no longer what it really stands for. It's a belief. It's dependent on what people believe, and everything is going to come down eventually if we don't stop this. And this man is absolutely right over here. If we go to space and we can just completely go to the stars and engineer shit and
harvest asteroids, comets, these other planets that don't, they don't really have anything but harvestable materials on them.
Right, it's not environmentally dangerous, that they can't use any of those excuses.
It would open up a whole new genre, a whole new spectrum of careers and jobs and tourism. If it was public access, if we could really have intergalactic capitalism,
my God,
and really purge the centralized systems like we were saying, but that has to be, we have to really reestablish that our constitutional rights come first. And that's where it comes down to, and we're really succeeding because we need an intergalactic constitution.
The intergalactic republic.
Which coincides with each other. It's based off of God. That way, exactly, there's an intergalactic republic, just like there's a republic here in America, on Earth.
It should mirror the Constitution on this Earth, should mirror the one in space if we're going to go and do this. And that's the only way to make it fair.
So that free will is not imposed on each other. We each have our own choices to make, and we can help each other along the way.
Absolutely. We're one together. We're all humanity. We all have the same blood, color, religion, sex. It doesn't matter. We're not worried about that. We're not distracted by it. Like all the fake media wants to let us think that, make us all nitpick with each other. And
thoughts are not endowed by the state. That's why you do not get to take me to a re-education center and tell me how to live.
Right. Thank God we don't live in China or any of the other places. We're blessed by it. We have the hand of God on this country, or we did. I hope that comes back, People need to wake up and start doing, but yes, exactly. So a little bit into this sustainability of humanity, we've talked about the interplanetary exploration, we've talked about the mining, and the reasons why the EPA and the CDC and all the EU talk about overpopulation. We've read some articles about with technology suppression and fuel alternatives and life extension, just the sustainability of humanity as a whole. If we go to space, having this what do we call it? The intergalactic law establishing some sort of constitution that mirrors ours, but having a republic.
It's more like intergalactic rights, because you don't want necessarily laws, because that leads you down the slippery slope of government and democracy, libertarianism, and the republic, and everyone gets to vote on that. It's no longer broken into continents. It's all one Earth. Exactly. Voting on this. But there's the thing. And it can't be digital either. We're getting sick of this crap.
Digital. No, they rig it too hard. And there's the thing though, if we let this, see all the fuel potential and all the resources, if the same people like Exxon and BP oil and all the people that own the biggest energy resources on Earth, if they're allowed to go up there and do the same thing, then we've got no ground.
We've gotten nowhere. We're still the subservient, servitude, little peons that they think we are, and they make us be, even though we really have God-endowed rights that shine like gold when you take the reins, take life by the balls.
No, exactly. We cannot. If we're going to make this happen, if this is our idea, this is the solution to that, is establishing the intergalactic republic with rights of free commerce, free trade, having not the intervention of the government tell us where we can go in space and where we can mine. And of course, there's going to be cartels, and of course, there's going to be.
But people will die.
People, right? Oh, but people will die.
But people will die.
We can't do it. Because people die.
But will 6.5 billion people die?
Right. When it's totally when they say they want
eugenics program.
That's a pretty good point, dude.
Interesting. I think I'll take my chances.
Yeah, no doubt. We have better chances.
Especially since you get to see, the most amazing things that humans haven't even seen yet in the universe that would make the seven wonders here on Earth look like piles of garbage.
But it says the stars are his handiwork. Going up there and seeing whether you're not in creation or not.
You sit there and look up in awe at those stars every night with your jaw dropping to your feet. Yeah.
But it just happened all by accident. Wasn't made. Just kidding. Well, I'm just getting off. Anyway, not to be a religious zealot or anything. Not letting the people on this planet, the giant elitist combines that have taken over the energy resources, you can count on your fingers probably the biggest proprietors of energy, of petroleum based, electrical based. If we don't let them have the same access to outside the atmosphere, because they'll take it over,
and the shit rolls downhill to all their little sister companies and corporations that are all part of the same offshore companies of the Fortune 1000 that rob our economy.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous.
They're all going to bend over, and they're all going to take it the same way they do here if they go up there, and they're all going to buy it for an overpriced.
It's going to be a complete bipartisan orgy.
It's not graphic at all. It's happening. And
it is right now.
No, absolutely.
The shadow government is a bipartisan orgy.
They tell us that we can't mine our own resources when we have, what was it, like 4 or 5 times the amount of Saudi Arabia has?
You can't have a fire in the summertime.
Or Saudi Arabians' oil. We have 5 times what Saudi Arabia has, but no, we're not allowed to mine it or get it out of the ground because it's harmful to the environment. They're stifling us and holding us back with our own resources on our own land. It's not even their land.
You can't, make intelligent beings, and teach them how to mine those resources, or teach them, safe fire, rules.
Right, or
safe fire practices, whatever you want to.
Yeah, whatever you want to say. You can't even just educate the public on how to do it right. They just say don't do it at all.
Don't do it at all.
Yeah, no.
We say no.
They kind of.
I'm the parent.
Yes.
That I did not make a baby.
It's like Emperor Palpatine up there. Unlimited power.
Unlimited.
Mace Windu. Yeah, that's what
over 9,000? Gotta say about his power level. It's over 9,000. What 9,000?
Up there, they're sitting up there doing that. And okay, so anyways, sustainability of society.
Seriousness. We were trying to keep this one serious for you guys.
We're trying.
We got too much humor to keep you involved with here.
We have a good time. If you can't tell, we have a pretty good time. Purging centralized systems, and that's what we're trying to hit on, is purging the centralized system. We have centralized systems here on this planet, hoarding and completely overtaking.
That clearly go dormant for over half a century. No manned missions to space. NASA, thanks a lot. But you know what? I think things are changing a little bit.
I hope so, man. I would like to think that people like you and me are not just the only ones. We're a big mind of individuals, but
it's like a big family, if you will, man.
Yeah,
it's like a big family of people who get it.
And it surpasses our borders. It's not about fucking race, not at all. They want to make it about race, and it's so stupid.
It's so stupid. Or sex, equality. When we all have unique qualities.
I believe men and women.
Everything's different about everybody.
Yeah, men and women have existed for centuries and centuries and centuries.
No two people are exactly the same.
And they coexist. I mean, just like we do with the animals. And environmentalists can disagree with me that we don't coexist with animals and we eat them, but we do. We coexist with animals. And why do we have cats and dogs? Because we love them and they love us back. Oh, they're just little things like that. Men and women, all different races. We all coexist. We're all part of this planet. We're all red-blooded. We all want the same thing when it comes down to it. We sift off all the bullshit that they tell us about race garbage and all that. I mean, this is what is this message really about? This is just a humanity message. This is trying to I can't even put it into one sentence.
We're reaching out to our brethren, man. Reaching out to humanity, reaching out to that foundation of people that makes up truth seekers and, libertarians, people who want to stand up for the truth and what's right, and
a divine spark of liberty that we've
really a divine mark, if you will, on this reality in their own way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. I mean, me and him we're pretty on board on most of the stuff we talk about. I mean, we have disagreements. I mean, let us know in the comments.
That's what
down below.
Being a libertarian is about.
Absolutely. Do what you want as long as you're not hurting anybody. And hate speech is not hurting anybody.
Hate speech does not hurt.
YouTube.
Emotional feelings are not physical.
You hurt my feels. No.
Just now. You hurt my feelings by stifling my First Amendment. Your hate speech. Your existence is hate speech.
It's very true.
First Amendment comes before YouTube's feelings or anybody else's feelings. The Constitution rings true. That's why it was written that way.
It supersedes anybody's feelings. And that's the thing. We live in an age where
it's spiritual.
Feelings are preceded by facts. We're living in a generation of where feelings are more important than facts, rather. And that's what our problem is that they've made it that way. They've interjected it into society, and now we got a bunch of social justice warriors and trendies and third wave neo-feminists and all this garbage.
You don't even know what they're fighting for.
No, they don't.
They can't pose any sort of argument. Like we've seen on a lot of different, cucklord smashing videos by Owen Schroyer. Being a man on street.
For real.
I've spent a good grip of time ingesting that, video gold.
For real. And Wrecked Feminist and a couple of those other platforms on YouTube that haven't got banned for some reason. They're okay, but Alex Jones, no.
I mean, you can show, Islamic people beheading people,
throwing gays off roofs and all this other crazy stuff.
But they probably weren't Christians. No.
Anyway, in conclusion, interplanetary exploration, colonization, limiting government control in general, but definitely in space, the sustainability of humanity, look into the secrets of NASA, deprogramming globalism, look into the withheld technologies. This is all part of the big picture. We're just putting one little speck on the dot here to try to get awareness, right? I mean, for people to look this stuff up, check out what we said, check out these articles. We're going to link them in the description. Let us know what you think in the comments. Hopefully have more material.
Please hit us up in the comments. Non-fascist comment box, please hit us up. We'd love it. Say whatever you want. Say you hated it, it was dumb.
Yeah.
Even if that's what you thought. But, I'm not telling you what to say. Say what you want.
Yeah.
Please, tell us what you think. I mean, we got a lot of information out in front of you. I think we concluded for you pretty well on all of how everything kind of ties in to each other.
Absolutely. This has been today's Independent Thought Project on interplanetary exploration and everything that goes with it. Breaking it down, information breakdown. Anyway, I guess we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.